So I'm on a journey where I'm holding myself accountable because I do need help in that aspect, especially when it comes to trading. I specifically do options trading, and I also invest in stocks. So of course I buy and I sell some stocks as well. So I'm trying to just hold myself accountable and to say that I'm going, when I say I'm going to do something, that I'm going to do it and I'm going to stick to it so I can have some type of structure. Now, I will say I am a person who scalps for the most part. I like scalping. However, because I know I don't have the necessary discipline that you really need to have when it comes to scalping, I decided to say, you know what, take a step back and move real slow. When I say move real slow, what I want to do is when I'm sitting here marking up my charts, I'm like, what am I actually doing? Like, yeah, you know what to mark things at, but do you understand what you are doing? So now I'm taking a step back and moving kind of slower where I may not, where I say, you know what, I'm not going to scalp, that I'm going to just take my time. And if I have to make moves on the 1 hour time frame, then I would do that. If I have to go back to the 4 hour or to week, daily, whatever the case may be, where I say, excuse me, where I say, you know what, I'm going to trade from these time frames instead of trying to scalp. Because, scalping, you're normally like on the, at least for me, I have been on the 1 minute time frame, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute time frame, where I may use the 1 hour time frame as my bias time frame. So I'm like, you know what, slow down, hold yourself accountable. So what I'm doing right now for this particular video, I've already marked up some areas and I'm actually going to go back over those areas again. What I want to do is just show myself like 1 day at a time or 1 week at a time, wherever the case may be, where the progress that I'm making and I'm understanding everything that I'm working on these charts before I actually get into a trade, especially if I'm talking about trading in general, like I said, with options and whatnot. Now, I will say definitely for stocks now, I don't use the exact same procedures, and you'll hear me talk about, okay, if I'm going to actually buy a share in a company, here's where I would buy it at. Now I will talk about that portion of it, but my main thing is when it comes to the actual trading, that I need to get that on point, because I am one of those people, and I have been one of those people where I have gotten into the market. I had me some wins, but I had a lot of losses. I'm not going to sit here in front. I've had a lot of losses, and I'm not willing to lose my money like that. I had my moments where I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I cried one time. I don't care. Shoot. That hurts. It hurts your feelings when you think you smart and I got this, I got this. Like, nah, you ain't got nothing. So that's where I'm at right now. But anyway, I'm going to share my chart and show what I have been doing, and then periodically I will come back and just check my progress. I'm gonna look at my videos and say, here's where you were on this date right here. Where are you now? Are you making progress? Look back and see, like, did you mark up anything wrong? And that's what I'm doing. It's just my journey, and if you're willing to come along on the journey with me, then I invite you. So with that being said, let me share my screen. Y'all get that? No? Okay, let me stop. Alright, so I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to show myself up here. Hey. Alright, so I have it on the SPY charts right now. SPY is the ETF Trust. So what I'm going to do, because at first I was going to take all of my markings off. But for this video, I'm going to keep what I have on here. And if I have to make adjustments, I'm going to do that. So that being said, what I normally do first, I will go up to my 12-month time frame. And I go ahead and bring it big. I mark the all-time high. Normally for the all-time high, I mark it in red. And normally I would put that right here. I would put all-time high. But right now I don't want to type anything. But this is my all-time high. So the all-time high is at this mark right here. Okay. And that's what I use the 12-month time frame for. And each of these candles, so do represent 12 months of price action. Okay. Then I drop down to the monthly time frame. From the monthly time frame, I look for the previous month high. Again, each of these candles represents 1 month of price action. I drop down to the previous month high, or previous month time frame. and candle. And I mark the high, I mark it orange just because that's just my color I use. This is the high, and I mark the low. So this is the previous month high and the previous month low. I forgot to turn my radio back on. Boo! It's all good. Alright, so then I drop down to the weekly time frame and do the exact same thing. I mark the previous week high and the previous week low. For that color, I use purple. You see the high here and you see the low here. Alright, so then I drop down to the daily time frame. I do the exact same thing. Again, I mark the previous month. Well, we're in the day. Previous day high and the previous day low. And I'm going to do that in yellow. The reason I didn't mark it yellow for the previous day low because we already have the weekly low here. So there's no point of double tapping, shall I say. And I just leave that right there. Okay. And I'm going to bring it back down so I can see. Bring it back down so I can see. Alright. So then what I do is I go back up to the weekly time frame. Even though, yeah, I could have just done everything all on the weekly time frame what I need to do, but I like marking my my time frames up first as far as as far as the highs and the lows. Then I come back and do what I need to do. So now I go to the week. What I'm looking for on the week, I am looking for the trend. What is the trend on the week? I already see that the trend is bullish. And what I do for that is I will go ahead and use my fib tool, and I would draw the fib from the swing low right here in this area right here up to the swing high. So again, I can do it. I can move this out the way right quick. Let me click on that. It's in my way. See? It's right here. So I did it from the swing low. This is the swing high right here. I'll demonstrate that one. There it is right there. I just move it back over here. Alright. So that's swing low. That's the swing high. So this right here is telling me that the market, make sure I put this on here correctly. Hold on. Let me blow it up. Put it back on here correctly. Just want to double check. There we go. Alright. So bring it back down. So again, for the 13th time. Swing low up to the swing high. Okay. So what I do is I look for the impulsive leg. This is the impulsive leg right here that made us get this swing high right here. And you can see this is the leg right here that caused the swing high. This is the candle right here that caused the swing high. So what I do next is, and you already see it right here, I'm going to highlight it. I go ahead, I use my rectangle, and I actually draw an order block from the top of the candle, from the high of the candle and the low of the candle that push price all the way up to this swing high up here that basically pushed it up bullish more. Okay, and I just draw it over and I use this color here and I actually call it my origin order block. Alright, so then I had to tell myself now, okay, Charity, you know how to draw it, but what exactly is an order block? Alright, so my order block is basically, this is where institutions or institutional traders like to get into the market and basically play with everybody. So you have a lot of unfilled orders right here. And again, it's also the area where they got in and pushed price up. So they basically like to come through here and basically mess with the prices through here, try to do a rebalance, get a lot of accumulation, because in these areas right here, you're going to have a lot of traders, retail traders like myself, get into these areas right here. So institutional traders like to come here and basically manipulate the market here. And again, you have a lot of unfilled orders here as well, okay? So that's what my origin order block is. That's how I know what's going on right here. So then what I do next in this area, what I would normally do, and I'm going to take this off so I can show what I would normally do. I'm going to take this off right quick. So my next area, what I do is I look for an area where I can go ahead and the area where I want to enter in order to buy a trade or buy a share and whatnot. Or again, if I'm doing on the option side, I just want to get into areas where I can get a discount or a premium depending on which way the market is going. So what I do is I would take my rectangle, and normally I would draw between the 61.8 zone and the 50% zone. Price tends to love this area right here. So what I would normally do is I would draw here from the 61.8% down to the 50% level. I can't find my, I think my time frame is right there. Where is it at? Wait a minute, where did I put my, I should have took, hold on. Oh, this is it. I got to turn this thing green. It threw me out. I was looking for this. This is what I'm actually looking for. I'm trying to draw it to this. My what's called is covering now. That's what it is. So my purple zone, my purple level, or weekly high is covering my 50% zone up. So I can't hardly see it right here. But, oh, there it is right here. Let me bring it back down. There we are. And I'm not editing none of this out. This is real raw. So it is what it is. Alright, there we go. And I change it to the color green. Because it lets me know buy. Green, buy. Alright? Alright, there we go. Oh, I've got myself confused right there. I couldn't see nothing right now. Alright. So that's what I do for the week. Now, what you would notice, and normally what I would go ahead and do is I go ahead and label it as well. So this becomes, again, this is a buy zone. Oops. Buy zone. Again, this is my buy zone. If I was looking, I'm going to put this back in the middle because I like to be able to see what I'm typing. I moved it for a reason earlier. Oops, text. Go back to, I'm going to put center. Alright, so I can see. Alright, so I label this right here as my buy zone. This is where I want to buy my share, shall I say. But let's say I got into the market a little bit late, right? But in price went past my buy zone, which is fine. And like I said, the buy zone is an area where you can look for a discount. That's another word for discount, shall I say. But notice how price went all the way down past my zone, which is great for me because obviously I can even get in at a much cheaper price, shall I say. So what I would normally do now is I would drop down. I said it's already down here. So I would go to my 23.6%. I'm going to draw another zone here for a deeper discount. And I try to put it in this area where the candles are already here. And go all the way down to my 0%. And now this is another area where I can go ahead and buy. So what I do now, I would put, I might say buy zone for me personally. You know what? Since I'm talking about it, I just put buy zone. I spell it out. I do buy zone or opportunity number 2. I might say buy zone opportunity number 2. Opportunity. Opportunity number 2 to get into it, okay? And I'll take that off. Now, what I'm working on now is not leaving too much information on my screen because I don't like a lot of clutter. I should just say clutter. I don't like a lot of clutter on my screen and everything because I don't like getting confused and stuff. I might just go ahead and delete this area out because right now, prices down here is not to this area. However, it's okay right now. I will go ahead and leave it right here. But again, on the week, this is what I do on the week. I draw my origin order block and I draw the areas where I can get in for a discount or a premium, and this is a deep discount right here, which is good, okay? So again, and then what I normally do too, I already have it here. Let's go here. I would normally go ahead on the weekly, and so I don't get confused as I'm switching through time frames, I will go ahead and draw a line here, a level at the low, or basically at the impulsive candle that caused the higher move. And you can see right here, I'll call it my weekly, so you can see it. I call it my weekly bullish. It lets me know, hey, for the week, it's bullish, okay? And then I put like a breaking close retest for a change of character to bearish. And what I mean by that, and name it how you want, what I mean by that is, again, we're bullish. Unless price breaks this line right here, my pink line, and this structure right here, if it breaks this structure, and it has to come back up, do a retrace, and then come back down, then we are no longer in bullish territory. We are now bearish. All right, so that's why I have like a change of character to a bearish move. All right. So then what I do next, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the daily. I'm going to look and see if there are any other order blocks. And I don't have to worry about doing it by zone because our origin is, our by zone is our origin for the weekly. So we're not going to change anything right there. That's the area that I want to be in. But I will go and look for imbalances as well. I look for another order block if there's one available. And I will also look for an imbalance. An imbalance is where price moves so fast it didn't have time to pick up orders and it left a gap. All right. Now, I already have, matter of fact, I'm going to take this off right now. I don't want to confuse nobody. Let me take it off. I don't confuse myself, actually. But I know what it is. But anyway. So, I look for any imbalances. And at this point, there's no imbalances. But there was one right here at a certain point in time. See this gap right here between these two candles? There was a gap right here at one point in time, but it was already filled, as you can see by this candle right here. So I don't even put that back right there. At least not right now on the daily time frame. Now, we're on, again, don't forget we're on the weekly, we are bullish. Let me go back to the weekly. So again, we are bullish on the weekly. But when you look at it, you may say, you know what? No, we're bearish. Well, again, we're not bearish until price actually breaks this structure. And I mean, the body breaks it. Like this body right here, it has to break it. You see this red wick right here. Well, you may say, well, it broke it. It did not break it. It came down here. Price came down here, but it did not close below the line. It has to close below the line. Right now, it's still up in our area. So right now, we're still bullish. And we're on a pullback right now. Okay? So, again, let me drop back over to my day. On the daily, we're on a pullback. And this is why, again, this is a great example why I write what I write here to let me know we are still bullish. So I don't get confused myself and say, you know what, we're bearish right now. We're not bearish. We're just in a deep pullback right now. And you see price going bearish. Again, it has not broken our area. Okay? So these are areas where I can sit here and use so I can make an informed decision and know, okay, yeah, you may have internal structure where price may break internal structure and form your higher highs and your higher lows, or your lower highs, lower lows, whichever trend, whether you're looking at a bullish trend or a bearish trend that you're looking at. Okay, so that being said, for my day, I don't see an area, and I'm gonna double check. Because I want to sit here and tell that lie. I don't want to lie. Alright, so again, we're on that pullback, so I can see what price did push down on our pullback, but I'm not seeing a order block for that. Again, we have our origin order block, but I'm looking for another order block as well that will let me know. And I need something close to price. So right now we don't have anything on the bullish, and there's on the daily, and I don't see where there is a gap anywhere. So what I'm going to do now is drop down to my hour. And I use my hour to help me refine. Like my weekly, that's my area where I can determine what the trend is. Like what's the macro, what's going on the big time. A daily, again, I'll drop down there and do some more refinement there. And then 1 hour, I look for refinement here, but I also look for precision or an area where I may want to get into the market. All right, with that being said, we got some action here on the 1 hour. I see more areas right now. All right, so I go here. I can already see where there is a gap right here. I see a hammer candlestick pattern right here. And unless I see a hammer on the higher time frame, which I did not see a hammer on the higher time frame, it's just noise. It means nothing right now. But that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark our imbalance, because I see a big old gap right here. So I'm going to take here. I need to use a different color for my candles now, because I can't see sometimes. Let me zooming in. So let me double check. Oh, I did a good job on that one, actually. Let me move this over so I can see what I'm doing here. Bring this up just a little bit. And it's an imbalance, so I normally change this to like a a dark pinkish color. Click. So now my computer wants to go slow right now. Is it frozen? Click. There we go. Really? They're going to do me like that? Anyway, so this is my imbalance, and it's a 1 hour imbalance. So that way I know where this came from, because I'm on a different time frame. I'm like, where did this line come from? Because sometimes it may disappear, but it lets me know this is where it came from. So that's my hour imbalance right there. Imbalance, again, lets me know that price moved so fast that it left chaos in the wake, and it left gaps in the market. So in an imbalance, you can count that as a magnet, because price may want to come back down here. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but for the most part, it's almost guaranteed that it will. No, say almost, but almost doesn't count. But anyway, so price may come back down to this area right here. Okay, so that's the imbalance right there. And then what I'm looking for again, because again, excuse me, notice that we're still on a pullback right now, like a deep pullback. So I'm waiting for price really to come back into these areas right here. Because again, this is my buy zone. It's my opportunity number 2 to get price to come down and be able to get everything at a discount at a much cheaper price and everything. So I want these candlesticks. I want to see these candlesticks. How come every time I start, side note, every time I start recording, my throat just started getting all dry. Any other time I see right here on here, no problem. I start talking, you hear all that. But anyway, so I got that portion right there. You see another imbalance here. There's an imbalance right here as well. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to mark anything right here right now, because I don't want to have too much clutter on my chart. But at least I know it's right there. So that way, when price starts, if it gets closer here, I can come back and be like, oh, you know what? Let me come back and check this area right here, because price getting close. Is there anything here that I need to be marking that can help me out as I'm watching my charts and watching price? So I'm not going to mark it right now, but I do know there's an imbalance right there. Okay. And again, I tend to, on this chart right here, I want to look for order blocks as well. Okay. And I see an order block right now. I'm going to show you, because notice how on this 1 hour chart, because you're still looking at structure as well, because structure will help you determine at a certain point, or it's the market turning around right now. It's price turning around. I said the market, but you get what I'm saying. It's price turning around to go back in the direction that we want to, or maybe we don't want to, it may do its own thing right now. So, because notice how price, it still got pushed all the way down to this area right here as well, right? Where we had a break of structure. So I do see an order block. Let me double check. That actually would have been a continuation right here. So I'm not going to mark that one. So right now I don't see an order block. So what I'm looking now, I'm looking for price to come down back into our areas. Again, to be clear, go right here. My brown area, this is already our original order block. Now notice the order block actually has already been filled. All these counters has already covered our order block. So I can really make this order block right now obsolete, right? And I can delete it. But the reason I'm not going to do that, because I do see a pattern. So the order of precedence that I want to look at for a price to go into, so I can say, you know what, now this is a good area for me to think about maybe getting into the market or not. Again, origin block. So in order, you want our buy zone first. Okay, because this is the origin for our week when we say it was bullish. This is the area that caused a bullish move and whatnot. So we want price to come into our buy zone first, or our discount area first. Then we want price to go and cover our order blocks, basically to fill the order blocks. And it has filled it. It's in our buy zone, and it's filled these order blocks. So it has the orders that have been filled already. And then I want to look at, okay, is there an imbalance? Now, technically, if you look right here, remember I told you this gap right here, that would have been an imbalance right here. And price would have filled our area. So this would have been a good area for the most part to be able to get into as well. But now, surprise, we had another imbalance right here that formed today. Today is Monday. That formed today. So now I'm kind of like, okay, let me wait because price wants to come back down here. And price may want to keep coming down because we are at a time right now where price has been crazy. Where the market has been crazy with everything that's going on right now geopolitically, as we all know. So this is the area where you kind of say, you know what, I might want to wait. I might want to wait, okay? And then also what I have noticed too, if I'm looking at this structure here, notice how that's price broke structure. So it is still doing a continuation bearish move right now. And this is the area right here. See this candle? This wick right here? This is the area. I'm going to do a marking right here. And I'm going to turn it, I'll leave it pink right now. But this is the area right here where it lets me know that, you know what, price still wants to, it may still want to come down. It's don't wick this area right here, but it still may want to come down here. Now, I would tell you right now, before I start like really studying, like the way you really need to study and to understand what's going on in the market, I probably would have got into this. Not understanding structure the correct way and say, oh, I see an opportunity. Like I see a hammer right here. I know this gap right here is here. And I would have maybe waited, but how I was in the past, I would have got into the market regardless and say, oh, I can make me some quick money. It's going up, and then get mad every time when the price wants to come back down, and I'm sitting here mad. So I'm glad I'm doing the structure portion of it. And so again, this is a magnet right here, so I know price wants to come back down to this area, and I'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen next. So that being said, this is what I got right now. Alright, so I'm just monitoring my charts just to see what happens. I'm writing everything down, recording it, just so I can know, hey, here's what happened, here's what I did, and here's what I did not do, so I can say, give myself a pat on the shoulder, back, chest, clap, 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 whatever, and to know that, hey, you made the right move. Do not jump into the market right now, okay? And that's the goal, just to improve. So I get to the point where, you know what, I'm entering trades and I know I did it correctly. So if the market, decides to go against me, I won't be in my feelings, because now I can say, you know what, that's not true. That's just, hey, what the market wanted to do today. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm going to end this video. And if you are still with me, consider, don't consider, like the video, but consider subscribing to the channel. Alright, so I will be back another time. And yeah, that's it. I'm out.